So as you'll have seen from the thumbnail, this is going to be a medieval torture mask. This is going to make the chin part. I'm going to build the frame around my head to start off with, weld it all together, and then I can start building the front part. And then once I've done that and pieced everything together, I can build the back part of the cage so you can't take it off and it'll lock in place. But I'll cut this now. While that cools off, I'm going to try and form the bit that goes around the cranium. And I don't think the roller's going to get it right because I don't need it all to be curved, so I'm going to try and mark the centre and then bend it on my head, which you'll see when I do it. I don't know if this is going to work, but if it don't work, you won't see it because I'll just put whatever else I do in there. It's like world's strongest man. Oh. Well, I don't even think my angle bender could have got that as well as that is. I guess I'll just put it in the roller. This has actually been a lot more difficult than I imagined figuring out. I obviously want to join the head frame to the jaw part, but try to figure out where, while it's on my face and looking in a camera, is pretty difficult. So what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to build the front part which goes over the nose, and then once I've built that part, I can fasten that to the jaw part and work out spacings from there, which should be easy. I've just been faffing around getting this to sit exactly where I want it to be, and this is where it needs to be. Weirdly, right at the end of the steel that I already had on there. So I've had to build a little frame there to hold it, and then I can tack it in place and weld it on. Nothing survives the original plan. After I'd finished the mouthpiece on the other one, it just didn't sit right. So I found a wider cone cap, and I've welded that on there, and I've also extended this part. So now I look like Iron Man from Wish. What I need to do now is set across the eyepieces, which I've obviously marked out. And now I need to bend them. I over-rolled these so I could bend them back out because I knew I'd have to try and fit them to there. And it's easy to over-roll it because obviously, as you saw before, when I bent it over my head, when I bend it, it tends to just bend in one area. And if you over-roll it, you can relieve the stress. So now I need to tack these in place, and I'm actually going to leave them on there because I quite like it. I've done the majority of the front now, and there's a few little bits what I want to do, but they're all the finishing parts. So I thought, what I need to do now is work on the back. And my method is, I'm going to put my face in there, and I'm going to use some of this foam to wrap round the back, so I know where the strapping needs to go, and then mark it, and that should fit, should. What I'll have to do now is cut these two pieces of steel down and roll them, and then I can start building the back frame. Put the hinge and everything on there, and I've clamped everything together, as you can see, because there's loads of clamps. If it weren't clamped, then there won't be no clamps there. So this hinge opens now. The only problem I've got is I can't fit my face in it because of this clamp here. So I'm going to have to tack the hinge in place and then I can work out where I need to snip these. As always, I got carried away and I've fully welded the hinge on, but what I've done is I've put it on the inside so that you can't see it from the outside because it's a modern hinge. It's pretty ugly. This should now be right, and I've got that side braced up. I might actually weld that little tab there as well. We'll see. I've been looking at this for about an hour and it just seems too friendly, like happy. I can't work it out. To you it will have been the last video that you saw, but to me it was 3 days, because it took me 3 days to figure out what was going on with this. And I've cut out the full thing and I feel like it looks a little bit better. But I've also moved this brace onto the front as well. And then I've added a little crown at the back so it sits on the head and then it locks in fully when, obviously, when I put the back latch on. What I want to do now is get some sheet steel and fill in these bits here. So I guess I best get some cardboard to template. After I welded the main rivets in place, I cleaned up the inside, because even though it's a torture mask, you still want to be comfortable, don't you? Now what I need to do is I've cut these plates out and they'll get welded in place there, and I also put some rivets in there, and then I also need to put some more rivets on here, and then it'll probably be time to weld this in place, and then the final pieces need to be added. Now I've got all the rivets in, I just need to build the eye mount thingies. I've got everything together now. I've put a little latch on there so you can lock it so people can't escape. Now what I need to do is make the spikes for the eyes. I was going to use bolts and just sharpen them, but because I'm going to be wearing it to test it, I thought a better idea would be to use this bolt and then I'm going to thread in a spike so I can remove them if I need to, for pleasure or pain. So I guess I'll go build these bolts now. That's the eyeball spikes all finished up. So now I should put them in the eyeballs. If anyone would like to donate themselves to test this out, let me know in the comments. Please, no. Please. Ow.